You have entered the outlet. Your Tech and Entertainment Connect, where we spotlight blacks in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, our entrepreneurs, tech and entertainment news, the entertainment industry, behind the scenes and all things in between. Get ready to be enlightened and inspired. Now, your host, DJ Key Touch.
Welcome to the Outlet, your Tech and Entertainment Connect, right here on WOL 1450 and 95.9, where information is power. I say that again. Information is power. Look, I have a guest today, Mr. Alan Upshur, real estate agent, author, president of Get Out and Stay Out. And he's not even 30 years old. We have a prison to paradise type story. And this is just an inspiration because everyone goes through challenges and sometimes they feel defeated and that there's no way to turn their life around because they have something, a strike on their record or something against them. So this is why I just had to bring you on, because I was like, wow, you're not even 30 and you've already made significant changes to improve your life and be an inspiration to others. So I know I gave you one heck of an introduction. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what's your profession?
So my name's Alan Upshur. I'm a licensed realtor, author, and president of Get Out and Stay Out, GOSO, a brand that I started after I got home from incarceration. A little bit about myself. I'm from West Baltimore. Parents to Alan Upshur and Desiree Upshur. Raised me near Glen Avenue, out Ricerstown area. And private school half my life, public school the other half, and I always was a big fan of academics, but at the same time, very pugnacious, got into a lot of fights. And as
I think that's just you being from Baltimore. Is that what that is?
I wouldn't just say that. I love academics at the same time I love fighting. And as time went on, both of them have increased. My love for academics at the same time my love for fighting. And as time went on in life, my schoolwork and things went well, but also fights turned into robberies and doing things even crazier than that led me to incarceration in the first place. So trying to play both sides of the fence ended up ultimately sending me to prison. So.
How old were you when you were incarcerated?
I was 18 years old when I caught my first prison charge. Yeah, I'll never forget it. It was a winter break in college. I came home and just started robbing people basically. And one thing led to another. I went back to campus. Valentine's Day 2007, if I'm not mistaken, was when I got incarcerated for a robbery. So they gave me 3 years on my first offense, and I went to boot camp and went to Patuxent Institution. Went to like 5 different institutions, and I came home and didn't learn my lesson after that. I actually went back to prison the second time, told myself I wasn't going to rob anymore, and actually started selling drugs. So I figured, well, instead of me hurting people, now I could just sell marijuana, and it's not as bad. But ironically, I actually went to prison for somebody trying to rob me, and I stabbed him. When I stabbed him, I tried to get away. Didn't happen. Now I'm facing an attempted murder. I'm facing life in prison off of my acts from simply trying to play both sides. I actually went back to college on the second go-around. I had a 4.0 GPA. I was an exercise science major, but I had this other life on the side that wasn't controlled or disciplined, and ultimately it sent me to prison for an even worse offense. And this time it was really looking bad for me to even have a chance to come home.
So how old were you on the second conviction?
I was 22. So I actually came out, I did a year and a half on the first prison charge, went straight back to college, and then the second semester of college, I'm back in prison again.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So how much time did you get on the second one?
Well, they gave me an 11-year sentence. I was facing life in prison. I actually took it to jury trial. They had a lot of evidence against me. That the case looked ugly. But in my mind, it was like I wasn't going to take this plea of like 20 years plus. I was going to fight it. And ultimately, when I fought it, they ended up giving me an 11-year sentence. Thank God, all of the charges, first-degree attempt, that carries life. Second-degree attempt carries life. First-degree assault carries 30 years. Those were the big ones that I got found not guilty on, and all the smaller ones that were misdemeanors, they found me guilty. Sent me to maximum security prison on an 11-year sentence. And again, education came into play because I found loopholes in my case to actually come home and only do 3.5 years on 11. And I say only, but that's a long time. But I did 3.5 years on 11.
So
Came
let's
home.
back up. You said this when education came into place. So elaborate on that a little bit.
Okay, so when I was fighting my case, there actually were parts of my case that the lawyer had overlooked. So if I didn't go through my whole entire case, I wouldn't have found certain information that actually was key that when we went in front of the jury trial that actually saved me from getting that life in prison to 11 years. One of them was finding that the victim had 2 bullets in his pocket. And if I didn't find that piece of evidence, it would have been looked at to the jury that I just simply stabbed this guy because I didn't give any police statements. He had all the statements and I didn't have any statement. So in that case, I didn't really have too much to fight off.
Wow.
So when the 2 bullets was in the case, it made it seem like, okay, this could possibly be like a imperfect self-defense. He didn't just stab him for no reason. And that actually ultimately saved my life because I was enough to look through my papers and find this that the lawyer didn't really touch on. I had to use my education and read and study that while I'm inside of a cell, and it ultimately saved my life. So that's how education pretty much, in a sense, saved my life.
Yeah, because you just mentioned you had a 4.0 GPA. You was always good in academics. You was a little too smart for your own good, sounds like.
Yeah.
And you were able to get your sentence reduced
Correct.
and get out. So what came first? I mean, you're an author. You wrote this book, and then you also, was it Prison in Paradise?
Yes.
And then you also started Get Out and Stay Out. So which came first?
Okay, so Get Out and Stay Out actually started when I was in Cumberland, Maryland. Winter day, it was cold. When you get your commissary, there's a sheet where you know what you want to eat.
Okay.
On the back of it, I always write on everything. You know, that was like my therapy getting out. So when I wrote on the back of it, it was like, I looked out the window, like, man, I got to get out of here. And I remember telling myself that the first time when I was in prison, I got to get out of here. I used to always say that, I got to get out of here. And then I got out of there, then it was like, what else is it to do? You know, that's what got me right back in the first place. So then I told myself, I got to get out and stay out. And I was like, that's kind of catchy, get out and stay out. Then I just played with the words, GOASO, get out and stay out. Then every day I just started telling myself, get out and stay out, get out and stay out. I put like a little logo together, and it was just like, that was like my peace of mind while I'm in prison.
And your
get out and
focus.
stay out, get out and stay out. So I actually came home, and that was like my big thing. I came home with $50 from prison. I took the $50, put it all into candy, took a bucket out of my garage. It was either my mom's house or my grandma's house garage. And I just took this bucket, filled it up with candy, and just told college students, hey, look, just came home from prison. I don't want to go back. I'm trying to start a movement. Can you help support my cause? You can give me a penny, a nickel, a dime, anything. I'm going to use that and give you a piece of candy.
Wow.
Yeah. So I built that up, and then I actually bought T-shirts after the money from the candy. I made like $1,500 off of just candy. And I got the hustle from my dad because that was his first hustle as a child. So I said, let me use my dad's first hustle and find a way to get out and stay out with it. So candy turned into T-shirts. T-shirts turned into hats, socks. And our first year in the business, we sold $10,000 worth of product. And I was just speaking to different schools, different places, and it was just like, it just caught on. You know?
Wow. Yeah. And this is an amazing story because so many of us are trapped or feel trapped or mentally trapped. Once they're incarcerated and they become institutionalized, where it's like a revolving door, like what actually started with your story. So this is real inspirational. How many people were you able to reach out to and support that had similar situations as you do?
Well, actually, the support really, it started when I was still in prison. I actually was a tutor there. So people who were trying to learn to read and write and actually improve their grammar skills, I actually was a tutor there for a little while. So It started in there. Then I had my own mentor, someone who had life in prison. You know, he was never coming home, and he would tell me the mistakes that he made. So I had a mentor while it started inside. And then when I got out, I reached out to Under Armour. Under Armour actually donated $10,000 worth of products to my front door, and I would take it to barbershops and churches, and I was just giving it all away. And then in exchange, I'll just tell people my story. You know, I don't need anything, no money, just here, take this, and I told my story, and you know, they supported me. Different teachers and church leaders, they just backed me. And at the time, you know, I didn't really think too much of it. It was just like, it was my way of venting, you know. And ultimately, when I was trying to get my real estate license, because when GoSo got slow, the money wasn't enough to keep me going. So my mind started to slip, like, man, what am I gonna do? You know, I got a record. I really don't want to work a job. I felt like I was slipping, like I was going back to thinking about maybe going back to selling drugs, doing things that led me back to prison in the first place. Like my mind was slipping. So I went to get my real estate license. My father's been in real estate for probably going on 10 years now.
Okay.
And I used to see how he would sell a house, and I'd be like, man, then he has multiple properties. So I'm like, this could be my way out. So I tried to get my real estate license, and they denied me because I had a criminal record, and it just crushed me. And they sent me something in the mail saying, we'll give you a chance at one hearing. So I put it on Facebook, and I use that as when that moment comes, I'm going to give it my all. This is my last chance to really, go for it all, because it reminded me of when I went up for parole. They gave me one opportunity to tell my story and say what I was going to do to give me a chance to be free. So I looked at it from that mindset when I had my hearing. But I had so many people that backed me with letters, so much support, that when I went in front of the board and told them everything that I did since I've been home, from Gold Souls to speaking and motivating people, they overturned my sentence. And it was like, even just talking about it right now was like so deep, because they actually said, you're not getting your real estate license, and they actually gave me a chance and overturned it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is just incredible. And I mean, you're really resourceful. And so that's one thing I really want to communicate, because so many individuals, like if you have a street mindset or a hustler mentality, so to speak, you can use your same business sense on the right side of the law, number one. Because most kingpin drug dealers or whatever, that's a CEO mind. That is a CEO mind. Most of them don't use or partake in anything that they do.
I agree.
And they don't drink, don't smoke, none of that. Look, it's the outlet, your Tech and Entertainment Connect, right here on WOL 1450 and 95.9, where information is power. My guest, Mr. Alan Upshur. On the other side, more discussion with him.
Presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me. I'm out for presidents to represent me.
Welcome back to the outlet, your Tech and Entertainment Connect, right here on WOL 1450 and 95.9, where information is power. Information is power. All day. Guest, Mr. Alan Upshur, real estate agent, author, and president of Get Out and Stay Out. Truly an inspiring story where you turned your life around. After having some issues previously, you were able to turn your life completely around, and you're not even 30 yet. I mean, that's just so significant and so inspiring. So I want to get into real estate. Now, I know you said you were inspired by your father and things that the fact that he did real estate for, what would you say, like 10 years or something?
Yeah, it's about 10 years.
Yeah, so you were inspired by that, and you felt that was more of a path you could take and pursue as a career, and you were able to finally get your real estate license. So do you do commercial, residential? What kind of real estate are you into?
I'll say about 95% of it is residential. I've had very few within the commercial. Love to get into it more, but mostly I do residential.
Okay.
And it's the financial freedom. It's to be able to not be constrained to one building for 8 hours and then come home. I could work from home. I could be anywhere, So to be able to just have that freelance and still be able to hustle was why I love real estate, because I could make the same money as if I was selling drugs. And I could have the freedom to go where I want and set my own schedule. So to me, it was like the perfect industry for me. And I took it to heart. I always remember the letter that came in the mail when it said, Alan Upshur, we're denying you your real estate license. And like that anger inside of me, like that fire, like to this day, it'll never leave me. And there's just like, it was just like a chip on my shoulder. So when I got my license, I just grinded hard, really a lot of late nights. And I actually got 2016 Rookie of the Year for Baltimore for real estate. I sold 41 units in my first year.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm not even in year 2 yet, and I got 74 units sold.
Okay.
And I actually was awarded 2018 for January Rising Star for Baltimore Real Producers, but I just had the gala yesterday. So
okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so they highlight the top 500 realtors in the whole DMV area. And it was just like a lot of heavy hitters like Craig Northrup, like big names in real estate were there, and it was just like, in this little bit of time, in less than 2 years, to be invited to a setting where so many, big names in the industry were at, it was just like, it was so surreal. And I just being able to help clients, people who are paying rent and, they really want to buy a house, but they're not too sure. And you open opportunities for grant programs or help them with closing costs. And they realize this isn't too bad. I don't have to rent anymore. I could be a homeowner. To change so many lives in that little bit of time. Having clients that really didn't think they had a chance on getting a house to getting them into a house and becoming a homeowner. It's like, it's no feeling like it. And a lot of times I tell clients, and, even they say it is, you're someone who's been somewhere who didn't want to be there, and now you're in a better spot. So I'm just doing what I did for myself. I was somewhere that I didn't want to be, and I got myself into a better spot. That's what a realtor does. We take people from somewhere that they don't want to be anymore to a better spot in life.
Wow, I like that analogy. That was really cool. So what real estate company you work for?
I work for Zeki Home Realty.
Okay.
My office is in Pikesville.
Okay.
But I go everywhere, but that's what my main office is.
If somebody wanted to reach out to you for real estate, how could they do that?
Well, I try to keep it real simple. I just give my phone number and
Okay.
and Facebook. Facebook is where I get a lot of my business. So if you follow me on Facebook, Alan J. Upshur.
Okay, spell Alan because you know.
Right. ALAN JUPSHUR. Phone number 410-844-1930. My phone bangs, but I get back to you. Yeah.
What an amazing story. Now let's go to your book because you're also an author of From Prison to Paradise.
Yep.
So when did you publish this?
I actually published it going on now almost a year now. Less than that. Probably about 9 months ago.
Okay. And this is basically your story. Tell me about the book. son.
Okay, so the book pretty much every day I used to write in my journals of things that happen throughout the day, events, thoughts that go on my mind, motivational quotes, and I'm a poet. So I actually got my first poem published when I was 14 years old, and then I just kind of let it fall to the wayside, But when I was in prison, I would use that as therapy. Like even to this day, I write poetry. Poetry is like my way of venting. Like when I get stressed out, I write poetry. So in my book, it has like documents of parts of my life when I was in prison that helped get me by. Like, for example, I studied Chinese. And
Really?
Yeah.
That's a stretch. Chinese?
Yeah, so it was really more so for business perspectives. Like, as time goes on, it's $1 billion every single week from China to Maryland, and I wanted to find a way to kind of tie into that. At the same time, it kept me, focused while I was inside. But
I bet it did. Chinese?
Yeah.
I mean, most people, wait, I'm sorry to mess
Spanish,
with you on
I know,
this.
yeah.
Most people go to Spanish, they go to French, but you made a really good point. You made a really good point about Chinese and how the money changes.
$1 billion
between-
every week from Maryland from the United States to China.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars every week come through. So if you can get your hand on just a small portion of that, it can change your life. But ultimately, when I was inside, they would give me the Chinese books, but they wouldn't give me the CDs. So I'm like, why would you let me read the books, but I couldn't get the CDs? So I actually wrote it up. It took me about 8 months to write it up, but they finally gave me a chance to defend myself. So here I am again in another hearing. So it pretty much all came down to, you let us get CDs that promote violence, CDs that promote profanity, so much violence. Why can't we get CDs that promote education? And it was nothing they could say. So they actually got a document from WCI, I think it's 0501, me versus the whole institution, saying that now we can get language speaking audio CDs in that institution. So I used that avenue again of education to get something now that everybody in that institution can now get language speaking CDs while you're incarcerated. You can use that as a tool when you get out, as opposed to just reading a book. It's hard to learn a language when you just have the book, because Chinese is a tonal language. It's 4 different tones. So how do I know how to use these 4 tones if I don't have the CDs?
So I want to hear you say something in Chinese.
Ni hao mao, ni jiao shama mingza. So
you saying to me?
Ni hao is just hello.
Okay.
And then ni hao ma is how are you? And then what is your name is ni jiao shama mingza. So yeah, so what is your name? So you would say, for me, I would say Wo Jiao Allen. And you would say Wo Jiao.
Key touch. Okay.
Right.
Wo Jiao. Say it again. Wo Jiao.
Wo Jiao.
Wo Jiao. Wow. Okay. So this book, Prison to Paradise. Prison to Paradise. Where can someone find this?
Actually, I keep it real simple. Again, you call me or you go on Facebook and ask for a copy.
Okay.
So I
Let's
want
get
to.
his
I want to
Facebook out again.
say it again. Oh, Alan ALAN
Mm-hmm.
J Upshur UPSHUR. And the book is just pretty much talking about prison and paradise are mentalities. They're not locations. So you could be on the beach and everything going on in your life could put you in a prison mindset. You could be, and vice versa. I actually found paradise while I was in prison because I found my calling. I found what I wanted to do when I was incarcerated. So it was no longer me being in prison anymore. It was now me turning it into a college. So I actually had a peace of mind when I was incarcerated. When I was home previously, I'm selling drugs, I'm watching my back, I'm fighting, getting in trouble. So it was like I wasn't at peace when I was home. I found peace behind the walls of prison. That's where the paradise came from. So I just used my scenarios in life for us all to use the same, because we all have these struggles that we go through. That's like a prison mindset. We got to find our passion. When we start pursuing our passion, that's where the paradise comes, and it comes from the mind.
And that's really interesting that you touched on that about pursuing your passion. And that's truly what's liberating and what gives us life. So it
Exactly.
truly gives us life. And so for me, what I always tell people, if you don't know what your passion is, hang around people who do.
Absolutely.
If you don't know your
Absolutely.
purpose, hang around somebody who does. Eventually, you'll find yours. Something about them will rub off on you.
Definitely.
And you definitely have to surround yourself with positive people, and that's very important for your mindset as well, because you find yourself, and I know you're very aware, you find yourself in crazy situations when you're around crazy individuals.
Yeah.
I mean, you're guilty by association, or it can be in a situation you didn't even intend on
Right.
being in. So
But you knew you were there. You knew the people that you were around most of the time, too. So, yeah.
So let's discuss some of your awards and accolades. I hear you was on TV. What was that, last week before?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I was on Be More Lifestyle with Shardell Moore, and
Okay.
talked about my story and real estate and what I've done. Again, like I was saying, 2016, I was Keller Williams, Baltimore City and Baltimore County Rookie of the Year. They're the number one. They was the number one office. It still is number one office in the Baltimore City, Baltimore County region. So that was like a big thing for me to be in our city, to come home from incarceration, to get my license overturned and to get Rookie of the Year my first year, because that's an award you only get one time.
Right.
You know, so for me
or
to
eligible for one
Right.
time.
You always can get Realtor of the Year, but you can't always get Rookie of the Year. So for me to get that my first year, that really, my family was very happy to see how I changed my life and was able to do that. Then I just got awarded 2018 January Rising Star for the whole DMV area, with my story and what I did in sales. When so much small little time for me to close so many houses. So
This is
Yeah,
just amazing. Alan Upshur, I mean, you're under 30 and you've accomplished so much, turned negative situations into positive situations. What's next for you? And you have so much energy. I mean,
So I'm actually writing my second book.
Okay.
And it's actually called Go-So Volume 1 and the Get Out and Stay Out Manual. The thing about this book is that it's all poetry. So I actually inspired by Langston Hughes. So he's one of my favorite poets,
Okay.
of course. So the whole book is talking about uplifting the mindset and using your negatives to accomplish something positive. But at the same time, it's all through poetry. So my whole book will be in a poetic form of uplifting your life and actually using my brand, because it actually slowed down with Go-So. So now I'm transforming it back into a book so we all can read it and it'll be in poetic form.
wow. Alan Upshur, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me here on The Outlet.
definitely.
It's The Outlet, your tech and entertainment connect right here on WOL 1450 and 95.9, where information is power. Give out your number real quick, Alan.
410-844-1930.
Man, this was an awesome interview. I wish we had some more time. I'm gonna have to bring you back when you publish
do it.
the next book.
Right.
All right. On the other side, I have a special guest in the house, Mr. Kenneth Morris out of Houston, Texas. Man, you want to listen to this. Stay with us. Welcome to The Outlet, your tech and entertainment connect, right here on WOL 1450 and 95.9, where information is power. Yes. So I'm switching things up a little bit. I normally do the Black Facts from the Past and Present segment where we just spotlight someone that has done things incredible in STEM that you might not be aware of. But today I was fortunate and blessed to have Mr. Kenneth Morris actually in the DMV area. Mr. Kenneth Morris is the founder of Universal Elite Aerospace and Director of Education and Outreach for the Lone Star Flight Museum in Houston, Texas, and a heavy STEM advocate. Welcome to the outlet, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Another inspirational story. I mean, you battled from being bullied in high school, growing up in an underprivileged environment, Fifth Ward, Texas.
All the bad stuff you can imagine.
Fifth Ward, wow.
All the bad stuff.
And you still found a way to create your own success and help others realize their own success. You're a U.S. Navy veteran. I mean, here's another young man. I mean, you're under 40, aren't you?
I am.
Wow. So it's just so much to kind of talk about with you. Let's talk about your journey a little bit from getting into aviation. How did you get into aviation or want to pursue that?
You know, I really, when you ask any pilot, they tell you at 4, 5, 6 years old, I knew I wanted to be a pilot. That was not me. That was not me at all. My first time getting on the plane was going to boot camp at 18. So
okay.
It was the farthest thing from my mind. And I actually got into aviation because, when you first go into the military, you take a test. They want to see.
Oh, yeah, that ASVAB text.
ASVAB, right? So depending on the score, I had to make a 35 or something like that to just get in. I did. I wasn't doing that well. My GPA in high school was around 2.1, right? So that's not the best GPA. Once I made a high score on the ASVAB test, they thought I cheated. So they made me take the test again. That was good, though. The second time I scored even higher. So once I scored higher, this aviation job became available. I had, 5 other jobs lined up, and they had an aviation job on a piece of paper. Basically asked about that. Well, why is that one sat to the side? And it was, you can, you fly around a lot looking for submarines. 90% of the people that try this fail. We advise you to go be a cook. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take that job. And that's how I got into aviation.
Wow. Yeah. And so fast forward, how many years you do in the military?
I did 8 years in the Navy.
Okay, so you did 8 years in the Navy and
got out, went to college in Kansas on a basketball scholarship, and I got my
Wait,
degree.
what?
Yeah,
I'm still learning more about you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got a degree in computer information systems.
Okay.
And I chose that degree because listening to everybody else, they say if you get a degree in IT, you always be able to find a job. They were right, but I hated going to work every day. Absolutely hated it. So IT wasn't my thing, and aviation was. Aviation and helping people, specifically younger people. So that's when I created my own company. I saw that there was a need for it. There were other people doing it, but they weren't as active as I would have liked. So the only way I could, make it more active was to create my own, and the rest is history.
So Universal Elite Aerospace, and this was what, in 2013?
2013, 11, 12, 13 is when it started. November 12.
That's pretty cool. Okay,
Yeah,
you can't
November,
forget that. 11, 12, 13.
11, 12,
that won't
13.
happen again. Okay.
Yeah,
So
11, 12, 13.
So you started that then, and let's talk about some of the partnerships you've been able to make through your nonprofit.
Yeah, so me personally, I really feel like your network is everything. I really promote education. I want kids to go to school and get an education, but while you're in college, you have to establish your network. That's going to determine a lot going forward. So for me, I didn't go straight to college. A lot of my friends are veterans, but they're all over the country. So I started there. I started, just speaking at different places, and now I've, formed partnerships with United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, JetBlue. Let's see, the Houston Independent School District, which is the 8th largest district in the country. Pretty much anywhere in Houston where there's an educational component, I've, in some form or fashion, brought aviation and STEM and diversity to the kids.
That is incredible. That is incredible. Even with your partnerships, let's talk a little bit about that partnership with the Coast Guard you had in Houston.
Yeah, so the Coast Guard, again, I was in the Navy. I wasn't in the Coast Guard, but I did meet the guy that trained the helicopter pilots in Pensacola. I actually trained him when we were in Pensacola. So he went back in and he started training other people, and he told me he had a couple people coming to Houston.
Okay.
So they were going to be in the Coast Guard, though. So we made a connection there. Come to find out it was a female, and I told her what I do. So we actually invited the Coast Guard to come out and speak at the school. I said, well, speaking is one thing. How about we bring your $11 million helicopter? So,
Yes.
Yep. So they had never done it before. So we went through a couple little red tape, and
I'm sure. And you told them you bringing it into the hood too.
You want to bring this helicopter to Fifth Ward? Yeah, let's bring it, man. So, but we made it happen. It was monumental. One of the things that really stood out was when the helicopter was coming into Fifth Ward, the news helicopter was following them. They were trying to figure out why were they going to the hood. So they thought it was a search and rescue or something. So once they landed and all the kids came out, the news helicopter was around because, again, nothing like that had happened before at that particular school in the hood. And just giving them that exposure, and the kids loved it, though.
Wow. I mean, one of the quotes that I heard you say, I think it was just amazing. For our kids to want to be something different, they have to see something different. We must meet them where they are to get them where they need to be. Yeah. Wow, it says it for itself. It says it for itself.
Yeah. I'm always want to feel like I want to be the mentor that I needed growing up for somebody else. So, again, kids don't know what they don't know. And who are we to deny them that? And we've had these experiences. So, and if they see me in a flight suit and I'm dark skinned like them, or we have any of the same features, they can see themselves doing what I'm doing and even more.
And know that it's possible. And I mean, that's the main point of the Black Facts from the Past and Present segment, is to enlighten us on all of our accomplishments. I know this is Black History Month, but here at the outlet, we do Black History year round because, like you said, it's really important. I mean, if you're not aware that somebody who looks like you either has done something that you just weren't aware of that they've done, like, for example, Marie Van Brittan Brown inventing the home security system. I mean, that just really shocked me. So for you to just be aware that we have people in these different professions, especially along STEM, which is the wave of the future, technology, STEM, all of that is the wave of the future. And these are fields that you should pursue if you're interested in them, of course, but being exposed to them. And I mean, I guess for me, it's like we're always exposed as consumers. You know, we're counted in as being a consumer for buying a video game, but not counted in as being a creative portion of video gaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
right.
this is great. So you were on the outlet back in July via phone from Houston, and that was prior to the Lone Star Flight Museum in Houston opening. So tell me how that's been. That journey's been.
You know, every day is a new day. Just being in that position, basically, I'm the first African American that's ever worked for the museum in 28 years. So
whoa,
so
wow,
making history, right? But it's been great to say the least. Having full creative control over what the students learn, being able to diversify aviation, bring in kids who wouldn't ever see an airplane, take them on free airplane rides, and it's not just that, but just expose them to different careers in aviation. Everybody's not going to be a pilot. Right. Completely understand. But we put them in, pathways to become engineers, air traffic controllers. We have our own flight, aviation medical examiners, aviation attorneys. Yeah, so we
aviation attorneys. Wow.
Yeah, man. Okay. It's a lot of opportunities that we're just unaware of. Again, and if you don't have somebody who's done it before coming and show you the way, chances are you're not even going to consider that option. So that's what we do at the museum.
That is awesome. So when did the museum open? I know it was supposed to open around the time that Houston got hit with the hurricane, right? Yep.
Actually, that was our grand opening set date, and then Hurricane Harvey came and had other plans for us. So pushed everything back. It was really devastating for the city, to say. I mean, we're still recovering right now. So we pushed the date back. We didn't have a grand opening. We just opened up the doors and let people come in. If they didn't have any money to pay, they could still come in. You know, we didn't want to burden them, but we wanted them to give them something positive to look forward to.
Yeah, because Houston went through a lot with Hurricane Harvey, and like you said, Houston area is still recovering.
Yes, it is. It is.
So tell me a little bit about what makes the Lone Star Flight Museum a little different than others.
So when you think about a museum, if some people just aren't interested in museums, but if you think about a museum, especially an aviation museum, you got They're either going to specialize in flying aircraft or they're going to specialize in education. We specialize in both. So we got 20 different airplanes from the 1940s, World War II era aircraft that you can pay to fly on.
What?
Yeah. So, excuse me, that's very unique, especially for the area we live in.
Yes.
So we got, like I said, B-17 bombers and the plane the Tuskegee Airmen flew, the P-47. So, and also, again, the education is extremely important. Our mission is education in the youth, STEM education specifically.
Wow. Mr. Kenneth Morris, founder of Universal Elite Aerospace and director of education and outreach for the Lone Star Flight Museum in Houston, Texas. Big STEM advocate. On the other side, more discussion with Mr. Kenneth Morris. Stay with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Dirty Dirty. Welcome back to the outlet. Your Tech and Entertainment Connect right here on WOL 1450 and 95.9, where information is power. Yes, I have a Houston guest in the house, so we had to
Yes, sir.
hit you with that Houston.
bobbing.
Yeah, it's a different vibe, different flavor.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because the DC Texas Connect is something real.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the vibe in DC, like if you're from Houston,
Oh, yeah. I love it every time I come. I haven't been disappointed yet. So,
this is awesome. So, I mean, I just have to tell people how we met. My best friend, Alexis, shout out to Alexis
Yeah,
Williams
yeah.
in Houston. I was telling her about the show and told her how the focus was on STEM and aviation and all these fields behind the scenes that our youth aren't exposed to and we as a people aren't exposed to. She said, yeah, well, I know a pilot. I'm going to hook y'all up. And so when I finally talked to you, I was like, wow, he's more than just a pilot. I thought I was going to get somebody who's flying for Southwest, a black guy,
Yeah.
you know, that can talk about STEM. But it
Yeah.
turns out,
lot
wow,
more.
she sent me a diamond. She sent me a diamond. I mean, talking to Kenneth Morris, founder of Universal Elite Aerospace and director of STEM of Education and Outreach at the Lone Star Flight Museum in Houston, Texas. Big STEM advocate. So tell us why you're in town this weekend.
okay, so this is a legacy weekend. Basically, what we got probably about 20 other African American pilots who are here right now. I was the keynote speaker yesterday for the youth luncheon. I think it was probably about 60 youth from Baltimore and D.C.
Okay.
Basically got up there and told my story, and it went over really well. You know, I was able to relate to the kids and, you know, share my journey with them, and it inspired them to do what I do and even more. And like I said, that's what I do. At the end of the day, we use aviation, but it's really to motivate the kids to do some positive stuff.
That's awesome. Brought that to the DMV.
Oh, yeah.
And this was what, the second annual, what?
Second annual Legacy Weekend. We'll do it again next year as well. So this is we love coming here. You know, we love the people, the culture. That everybody's nice to us, and the kids love it too. And it's really about the kids.
So next time you're going to tell me ahead of time so I can put this
Exactly.
stuff out, even if you got to call me from Houston
There
and
you
call
go.
in so we can talk about that.
Yep.
Let's talk about this aviation expo that you did at the Potter's House
Yeah, yep.
in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. So much love to Bishop T.D. Jakes. He actually brought us in to. We had about 600 youth who attend his church in Dallas. So
Wow, yeah.
we may have about 20 exhibitors come, set up their booth, talk about aviation, and again, that was another opportunity where I got a chance to be the keynote speaker and explain.
Oh, you were the keynote for that?
Yeah, I was the keynote for that, right? So yeah, it was a lot of people,
Wow.
and the parents was there. You know, again, we talk to the kids, but it's good when the parents are there too, because we want them to understand if your kid ever say they want to be a pilot or anything like that, you know, support that. You know, these kids can be a lot more than what we give them credit for. And so when I tell them about my tattoos and, you know, my experiences and my father wasn't there, my mother wasn't there, and my grandmother raised me, and where I'm from is nothing but drugs and violence, you know. So when I relate to them in that tone, you know, they can follow my lead, and not just this guy's just selling wolf tickets, you know. So, but yeah, so the TD Jakes things was huge. We're gonna do another one in Houston, August the 19th, with Pastor Keon Henderson at the Lighthouse.
Okay. Wow. So we're going to have to get you to come up here. Would it be possible for you to do something like that in the D.C. area?
Most definitely.
Okay, so stay tuned for that.
Most
We're
definitely.
going to have to make that happen, get
Most
you
definitely.
teamed up with a church in the area and do that.
Yeah, about that, actually, I'm actually working with a DEA Youth Can Fly program. So shout out Mr. Hartman and he and his wife.
Wait, so back that up. You said, DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency,
right?
Youth Can Fly?
Yeah, so we no more scared straight. We're not doing that anymore, right? So
Okay.
they're actually allowing us to come in and show these kids that, we know the drugs are bad, and it's probably a lot worse than people know. But if we're not giving them positive options, okay, we'll tell you not to do drugs, but what can I do then? Okay, well, let's take you flying then, or let's take you out, show you how to build this plane or fly this drone and go make some money. So everything that they do since I've been working with them, it's all positive. It's for the kids, and we're aligned. So be on the lookout for that, the DEA Youth Can Fly program.
And that's here.
That's going to start right here.
Right here in D.C. So you're going to keep me posted on that so we can
Yeah.
put that information out and get youth involved.
Yeah.
Do you know what age group it's going to?
I don't know the exact age, but we're not going to. Everybody's going to be invited, put it like that. So we might target 6th through 8th grade, but those 1st through 5th graders, they're going to be welcome to come to participate in the convention as well.
Okay. So what do these aviation expos look like? I mean, I'm thinking aviation expo, you have booths set up. Do you have like something flying around, drones,
Yeah,
planes? I mean, what do you do?
So a lot of the times for these aviation expos, especially in the hood or the demographics that we work in, all the professionals look like the people that live in that neighborhood.
Okay.
That's really important. So not only that, but they're going to have a unique job opportunity. And we're not going to come out and just say, we make so much money. But we're going to give you the path of how we got there, what pitfalls to avoid, and things to be on the lookout for. We want to make it as easy as possible for you. And then if you need a mentor, having a mentor is extremely important. For me, I wouldn't be where I am without a mentor. Then we'll arrange that, that opportunity as well. So one of the things I tell them, if you see somebody that can help you, ask them for their phone number, ask them for their email address. Be direct and then follow up with them. And you can go a lot further that way. So that's what the expo is.
That is really awesome. I mean, you're an amazing story, and I mean, you're a young man, still a young man, under 40. Yeah. Another example. I mean, we talked to Alan Upshur earlier, who was able to change his life completely around. You were also able to change your circumstances, even though you grew up without your parents and your grandmother raised you. You were still able to change your life and ensure it was positive. And then you reach back. I mean, that's what's so inspiring. The fact that you immediately wanted to help others that were in similar situations not go through that. That's an inspiration in itself. Wow. Dang. So what do you have to say to youth that may be struggling, even young adults that may be struggling and just trying to find where they fit? They may be interested in something in STEM, not really sure how to get started, and they're delayed, frustrated. What would you say?
The first thing is really find something that you have a passion in doing. And find something, and that's what, for me, the first 3 or 4 years that I was doing my program, I wasn't getting paid. So I wasn't traveling like I travel now. I was trying to make a name for myself. But I was willing to sacrifice because, again, this was my passion. So I would tell the kids, number one, watch the people you're around. You know how they're moving. You know if they're doing things that are going to eventually get you locked up or in any kind of trouble. Those are just the common sense. And I know peer pressure and, we're not eating and we're hungry. I understand that, but you just have to make a better decision. The people you're around is one. And then more important than anything else, care for other people. That's how I got where I am. If I didn't give back as much as I did, I've gotten a free car, like a 2014.
Wow.
They gave me a car because of what I do in the community. Brand new car. So that's all from giving back. So I haven't had a car note in 3 or 4 years now, and that's all from giving back. And it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about, the notoriety or anything like that. It all came. So, just be patient and work hard. Never let anybody outwork you. And your time will come,
Another question I want to ask you, what do you think about education? I'm a big advocate for education, even if someone can't really do the traditional 4-year college thing. I'm just a big advocate for some kind of education. Even if you're a plumber, you need a license for that, an electrician. Education is a big deal just because of technology. It will be replacing a lot of jobs. We're already starting to see that. Like at McDonald's, you can go up and just order yourself without speaking to someone. So what would you say to someone about education and the importance of it?
I think one of the things that we, as, a little bit older, what we have to realize is that the kids who are 16, 17, 18 now, they're digital natives. So all they think of the internet and that's all they know is the internet and so forth. I encourage them. Formal and informal education is important. I mean, it's extremely important. You can learn so much from a book, but you can learn even more from experiences and other people's experiences. So, yeah, I want you to go and get that 3.5 GPA, 4.0 GPA, but just make sure you're learning life lessons at the same time. STEM is not anything new, but we're emphasizing it now because we came back. We were, kind of behind Japan and China and India and so forth when it comes to technology, but take advantage of the education. It's people who would kill to have this free education, and we're just, not fully utilizing it to our best ability. So take advantage of that, put your best foot forward, and then, never let anybody outwork you.
Wow. What a time went by so fast. Mr. Kenneth Morris, founder of Universal Elite Aerospace and director of education and outreach at the Lone Star Flight Museum in Houston, Texas. He's actually the only black man on the website as far as the leadership. Wow, yeah, I did see that. It's the outlet, your Tech and Entertainment Connect, right here on WOL 1450 and 95.9, where information is power. Look, join us next week, 5 to 6, same place. Peace.